October the 7th, 1914. Last of the hunters commandeered for the war. They can take the horses, but what about the men? What'll happen to the valley if the men leave for France? Please, God, may it all be over by Christmas.
We all comes out the same old I says, lad. So don't he get at me, right? I'm telling about that young fella from Weymouth we met. Oh,
Here, are you going to be seeing Will off tonight then?
Oh, I reckon. About 7 o'clock. Well, his train's not till 10, is it?
About that. What sort of bloody army will it be? With men like Will in it?
War'll be over by the time he gets in here.
Yeah, better be. Else we'll lose her.
Morning, landlord.
Morning.
Inspector Wall would like a word with you, sir.
Morning, sir.
Do you know where's Weymouth Lodges?
Oh, I ought to. The lane leading there is right across the road. It's the only house up there.
Thank you, sir.
What are that to then?
Want you to know where Weymouth Lodge is.
Oh, Shaw's place.
That's right.
I wonder what they want with them.
I'm off. I'll see you both tonight, then.
All right.
That was Inspector Wall, that was, from Paxtonbury.
Well, I thought I'd never seen him.
Funny, coming all the way from Paxtonbury just to see old Schultz, sir.
Ah.
See who that is, please. But I'm very busy.
It's 2 policemen.
Professor Charlotte, sir?
Schultz.
I'm Inspector Wall, Constable Wilkins. Does this young lady live here?
Oh, no, she is cleaning for me.
3 mornings a week, sir.
Take a name and address, Constable. May want to talk to her later.
Well, what do you want?
We'll get to that in a minute, sir. Now, how long have you been living in England?
4 years now, I think. No, nearly 5.
What is your occupation, sir?
Well, I was the professor of medieval history at the University of Mecklenburg.
But you're presumably not that now, sir.
No, now I just am doing research.
Would this be part of your research, then, sir?
Oh, yes, but please, tell me, why are you here?
Just routine inquiries, sir. What would this research be about?
Oh, many things.
I dare say, if you could just tell me some of them.
It is rather complicated. It is about the way that places are named after prehistoric burial sites in the west of England, but there's much work still to do.
I don't doubt that, sir, but just that piece of paper?
No, this and these, and most of the work on the table over there.
All about prehistoric burial sites.
No, not the sites, the names.
And then you forward this information to Dr. Wilhelm von Eisen at the University of Cornell in the United States.
Oh, yes, but...
Why do you do that, sir?
Well, he is writing a book. In fact, we are writing the book together, only my English is not yet good, so he translates it for me.
About the names of burial sites.
That is only a part of it now, Inspector, please. Tell me why you are here.
You understand, sir, that now we're at war, we have to make certain inquiries. What does that say, Constable? I thought you were supposed to be able to read German, Constable.
I can, sir. Well, I mean, that is to say, not properly. I mean, not the actual handwriting, sir. Der Glauch Beaus Dionysius. Now, let me see now. I used to know this one. It's, yes, I think it says Mittelherberg, sir.
Is something amusing you, sir?
Oh, no, excuse me. It says, Der Glaube aus Dionysus im Mittelalter.
He's right, sir. What does that mean, sir?
Means the cult of Dionysus in the Middle Age.
That is correct.
I hope you don't mind, sir, if I take a look around the house. Start with the desk and work round.
But these papers are all in order. They constitute 4 years of work.
Well, best be off then. Here, those policemen haven't come back from Schultz's place yet.
Oh, they haven't been there that long. You seen you tonight, then?
I told you. See old Will off. He don't even know there's a party on yet. It's me telling him. He doesn't know much about anything, Will.
And what's to become of your son? You didn't think of him when you signed that paper.
There's the separation allowance. That's what 'tis called. 'Tis money the government'll give 'ee.
You think us can live on that?
If you could just iron me trousers,
Oh, iron
love.
them yourself. They've been under the mattress these 2 months. Oh, come in, whoever you are. I think you're a great fool, Will.
Oh, Squire.
Sorry, Squire. To know 'twas you, I thought 'twas one of his friends.
Well, I just dropped in to wish you good luck, Will.
Oh, thank you, sir. 'Tis kind of 'ee.
Let's just hope you get back before Christmas, eh?
Yes.
What sort of a soldier will he be? When we have chickens for dinner, he can't even wring their necks. 'Tis I has to do that. What sort of a soldier will he be, too? He only signed that paper for a few shillings. He didn't know what he was signing.
Don't go on.
Couldn't you tell them, Squire? Say he can't go.
Well, I did manage to get him deferred for a couple of months until all the harvest was in.
Yes, but
I'm afraid there's nothing else I can possibly do.
you know what he's like, Squire. You know him. Will couldn't kill anyone.
I don't reckon they'll ask me to kill anyone.
What do you think soldiers are for?
When we was training, 'tweren't for killing no one. 'Twas marching and drilling and firing at targets and bayonet charging and shouting. You has to shout when you charges.
You're a great fool. What'll happen to Mark and I while you're away?
Don't you worry too much about them, Will. Everyone will keep an eye open and make sure things are right at home.
Oh, I'd be that grateful, sir. Only she's been on at me.
I want you to go, that's all.
He won't be away long, Eleanor.
That's right, love. I sees him, I tells him I can't be too long.
What do you want?
Just to let you know there's a party at the Raven in Will's honour. Before he goes off like. About 7. Oh, sorry, Squire. I didn't see you there. If you'd like to come, sir.
Well, I'd like to, but I'm afraid I can't. I'm on my way to meet Mr. Grenfell.
Ah, well. See you this evening, then. All in your uniform. Squire.
Thanks, Walt.
You can't do nothing.
Well, good luck, Will.
Thank you, sir.
And come home soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I reckon they ain't pressed enough.
Give him to me. I'll iron him.
Finished, Constable? Yes, sir.
Oh, you have now finished.
For the moment, sir, anyway, thank you. Sorry you've been disturbed. No bother, sir. We'll let ourselves out.
Oh, was kann ich nun tun?
Welcome back, James. By heaven, Paul. It's a relief to be here again.
Let me give you a hand.
I keep telling you it is not the slightest use. You have got to talk to my husband.
I don't think you appreciate, Mrs. Craddock. It's extremely important that I secure a signature.
Well, I think he's here now.
At last.
of the valley.
Oh, hello, darling. Hello, James. Welcome home to the valley.
And it feels like coming home.
Oh.
Would it be improper if I offered your wife a small gift?
Well, if it is, it's never stopped you before.
Oh, James, how lovely. Thank you. Oh, there's a Mr. Hopkirk waiting for you.
Ah. Mr.
Hopkirk, I'm from the forestry department. Now, I have here a list of the timber on your estate.
That's more than I have. And how, may I ask, did you get it?
My colleagues and I have surveyed the resources on your land.
I take it you got permission from
I
my...
assure you, Mr. Craddock, that is quite unnecessary. Now, I would appreciate it if you could confirm that the estimates are accurate, and then if you'd sign here and here. Map reference 846272 is the center of an area
Yes,
of
but
beaches.
first we need a map, don't we?
Well, I have one, naturally.
Naturally.
Here.
There's plum pudding wood.
Then here, map reference 842266, there are 9.5 acres of pine.
Priory wood.
Around 5,600 trees.
And Delwood and blackberry copse and so on. Now, what's the point of all this?
When the timber is required by the department, it'll be a
What
valuable...
the devil are you talking about?
Well, for the trenches. Or pit props. Where it's necessary that we have an agreed assessment of the resources on your estate to purchase.
I haven't the slightest intention of selling.
Mr. Craddock, the department has the authority to purchase any timber it needs.
Is this true?
I'm afraid he's right.
If you would just sign that the estimates are correct, this will avoid any disagreement when the department purchases.
How am I supposed to know how many trees I've got on my estate? Go and ask my estate manager, Mr. Rudd. If he wants to sign, he can.
Very well, Mr.
Good
Craddock.
enough to leave. We're just about to have luncheon.
Then,
Good day. Oh, James, shall we go and sit down? He has been here for hours. I never thought I'd ever get rid of the man. I thought, when will you both
Oh, you
appear?
may be right. They have the authority to strip my land bare, but I'm damned if I'm going to help them.
I'm sorry luncheon will be a few minutes yet, but only I didn't know what time you were coming back.
It doesn't matter, darling. Anyway, I need a drink after all that. I don't know what's happening to this country. When a man can walk onto my estate, count my trees...
I'm afraid that's a very small part of what's happening. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, what's the news from the valley?
It's all this damned war. You know, they've taken all the horses, except the shires. Not even the government expects us to work the fields without draft horses.
All the women have started knitting scarves and things. Agnes from the post office has sold out of khaki wool twice.
Do you remember Roddy? John Rudd's son?
He's in the Navy, isn't he?
Yes, that's him. He was due back on leave the very day Churchill mobilized the fleet. He didn't come, of course. John was very disappointed.
Well, a couple of boys from Coombe Bay came here the other day to ask Paul if it would be all right for them to volunteer.
What did you say?
What could I say? I said yes. Let's just hope the idea isn't infectious.
I think we'll have conscription. Sooner or later.
But Britain's never had a conscript army in its history.
We will, if it goes on long enough.
The war couldn't last that long. Not even Britain could afford a war for more than a couple of months.
We can mortgage the future. Sell off all our overseas investments. Borrow.
I'll go and see how the meal's getting on.
What's happening in London?
I have no idea.
Well, if you haven't, who has?
At the station, while I was waiting for the train down here, there was a hospital training. I spoke to a young officer there. He'd been a liaison officer with the French in the Ardennes.
That's where the French launched their offensive?
Yes. Apparently, all the soldiers were in scarlet and blue, and the officers all wore white gloves.
Oh, my God. We learned that lesson in South Africa.
He said it was a massacre. The official estimate is well over 250,000 French dead and wounded.
A quarter?
In 1 month.
That's impossible.
I hope you're right. Because if not, somebody will have to replace those troops. And they can't all be French.
You better be going, they're waiting.
Oh, don't go, Will, love. Stay here with me.
I'm all waiting at the Raven.
But you don't like drinking. Stay here with me.
I can't. 'Tis a party. Oh. Come on.
Seen everything before he comes.
Where's he to, anyhow?
Well, what do you expect? Will not turn up to his own party, will he? When they got married, Ellen had to turn up to his own. I was going to say away from his own nurse. You leave me alone,
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow.
Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to Will Cudgel, the first boy from the valley to go over and fight the Hun. May you be the first of many, boy.
Thanks, Mr. Purcell.
Drinks all round, please, Les, on me.
Oh, it's the first time I've been bought a drink by a grocer.
Sherry's for the ladies.
What's sherry like? I've had it once, 'tis like sweet cider. There's less of it.
I don't want no drink. Don't you give him too much. He's got no head for it.
You can't tell him now, missus. He's a soldier. Only Sergeant can tell him now.
It will all be over time he gets there.
He'll be back for his Christmas dinner, my dear.
This could go on for months, lad. We'll set an example of the whole of the valley. Wish I'd been born in this valley and I was 20 years younger, lad, and I'd be wearing that uniform too.
Yes, but you weren't born in this valley and you may be 20 years younger, be you?
What a large gin for Will, please, Les.
Well, you enjoy yourself, right?
There you are, Will, lad.
Oh, no, Mr. Purcell, I've never had no gin.
Drink up, lad. There's nothing too good for the British tummy.
You leave him be.
Wouldn't be no good me arriving there all mazed.
When you get to France, you know, it'll be all wine.
Is that right?
Red wine, white wine.
I know 'twill all be different, like them not speaking English.
All of them speak English, I know, lad. I've been there. But don't you worry, Will. Wherever you go, it'll be free. They'll all be giving it to you. Because you are defending them against the Hun.
You mind what you asked for, then? All they young women.
Especially them what do the can-can.
I wouldn't be after that.
Don't worry, Mrs. Cudgel. No Englishman takes advantage by a helpless woman.
I'll bink the defenseless ones him on about.
Englishman defends his woman, not like the Hun.
You bring me back one of them helmets, Will. Then with a spike on, stick it under my bed.
Go in and you're making jokes.
Oh, he's only trying to
it's funny
kill
to
him.
you, my Will going God knows where. God knows when I'll see him again. But it ain't funny, it ain't.
Oh, yes, they're keen enough. They're still queuing outside the recruiting offices. Friends joining up together, that sort of thing. Like going on holiday together.
I suppose it's a good sign in a way. Get it over quicker.
If that's how you win wars nowadays. No more, thanks. I don't seem to have the, not the head, the stamina for it. Not anymore.
You do look tired.
I feel 20 years older than I did 3 months ago. I remember once we'd been having a number of late sittings. We were all rather sorry for ourselves. And Lloyd George came up to me in a corridor and said, "You're looking horrible, man. But just you go back into that chamber and take a look at all those Tories. We're winning. And they're only thinking, my God, next election I'll have to find another job."
Did it work?
Yes. They were all looking just like I felt. But this morning, was it only this morning? I caught a glimpse of myself in a mirror. Just like the Tory front bench used to be. I'm sorry, I'm being slow.
Oh, there's no hurry.
I've news about Grace.
What news?
Well, as you know, most of the suffragettes gave up their campaigning when the war started.
Yes, I know.
They put all their energies into the war effort.
I read about it.
One thing they were never short of, energy.
I suppose from your point of view it is better that they attack the Germans rather than you.
If they must attack anyone. Grace volunteered for service. She's in Berkshire somewhere learning to drive an ambulance. That's the latest I heard.
She'd be good at that.
Yes. But it's a terrible way for someone like Grace to have to use her talents.
Now, there's a large gin in this bottle for the first man who's prepared to follow Will into France.
Oh, go on, Dandy.
No, we've got to volunteer after Will.
But he didn't volunteer.
Oh, I did in a way, like.
Come on, who's going to be next?
Well, seeing it won't take that long.
We don't want to hear that.
I'd never seen France.
And another one for Will.
Oh, no, Mr. Purcell, my head goes all funny.
You drink up, lad.
But you can't go leaving us, Jim, love. Just do when you're away.
You'll do nothing, I'm telling you.
We'll be like we was afore you come.
No, you won't. You'll be behaving yourself.
We'll see about that.
Who's going to be next to follow these two fine lads into the army? What about you, Tom?
I ain't going in no army.
Come on, Tom, you've read the papers. You know what's happening in Belgium. You don't want those nice Belgian women to be ravaged, do you?
I'm a fisherman, What's I go in army for?
So what, you in the Navy, Tom?
Oh, Navy? That's a bit different than them. I might join the Navy, like.
Well, as long as you're fighting their own, what does it matter which service you're in?
Your health, Mr. Purcell.
And your proud night for the Valley.
The Valley.
I'm sorry you went hungry.
I'm sorry I didn't do it justice. You'll never realize how much it means being able to come down here. Get away from London.
A few days in the valley and you'll be a new man.
If you both like to go into the drawing room, I'll go and see about coffee.
Perfect hostess. You're a very lucky man, Paul.
Yes, I know.
I've got more happy memories of this house than anywhere else I've ever been. When I come down here, everything always seems quite different. Getting away from politics.
Well, it was you who introduced politics into the valley in the first place.
If that's true, I apologize.
I'd never been involved otherwise.
I suppose that rally here with Lloyd George was a really great moment of my life. Seeing all those people at the moment when they realized they didn't have to vote as they were told to. I wonder if we'll ever have anything like that again.
Why shouldn't we? There's still a hell of a lot to do.
Yes, but now all anybody's concerned about is the war. All the reforms, they're all forgotten about because of the war.
I think you need another drink.
I wish it was as simple as that. Yes, only a small one. When Lloyd George was speaking at that meeting, to me it was... I don't quite know how to explain it. All my ideals, they stopped being just things I believed in. They became things I knew we could actually do.
Yes.
I suddenly saw who our enemies were. You understand?
I'm not sure.
Lloyd George made me realize that Tories think of other people as ordinary people, as, well, them. They spoke about what was best for them. And because, quite unconsciously, they divided the world into Tories and them. They weren't just our opponents. They represented everything that had to be got rid of. Prejudice, injustice, privilege, selfishness.
But the war won't change any of that.
We're all on the same side now.
Coffee's coming in a minute.
Thank you, darling. On the same side, yes, but only as far as the war's concerned, surely.
But will we be able to get out of the mud again? I doubt it. Not in my lifetime. They're even talking of a Liberal-Tory coalition.
Why on earth should anybody want that?
Because some people think it's the only way we can win this war.
Who thinks like that?
Among others, the most able, the most realistic politician in Parliament. Among others, Lloyd George does.
Now, the way I see it is this. Maybe this war will be over before Christmas.
Nice boner being
And maybe it won't.
Well, maybe not, but
Now, me and Pansy, we've been talking, and she's gonna have this babby. Seeing as it's likely mine, I was thinking we might get married, see?
Oh, well done there, good.
And then if this war is still going on, I can go in the army after us
Well
is
done.
wed.
You better hurry yourself.
And then us will have wedding and babby.
Well, just get the order, that's what I
This war is still going on, I can join the army. That's what I reckon.
said. Well, the day you join, I join and all.
That's right.
There you go.
We've always been together at school and working for Miss Black. Yeah, that's right. We've done everything together. Here, you saw this babby in?
There's 2 more brave lads prepared to do their duty. There's 2 more large shins, please, lads, and my privilege to pay for them.
Thank you very much, First Squire.
I'm going to one for Will.
There you go up. Oh, well done. Get it down, you bastard.
Oh, no, Mr. Purcell, I'm all amazed as this.
You drink up, lad. What about you, Henry?
Oh, I can't go. Not yet. My pig's is farrowing.
Can't go on farrowing forever.
Since I have my trouble, like, I've not been using it as often as I like. My gun, that is. I reckon I'm still the best shot in the valley.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, I was hearing about these here snipers. That's the sort of job I'd like. But you reckon that have I, seeing I've been in prison?
You tell him the truth, Smut. You tell him straight. That's all you have to do.
I reckon I could ask.
Good luck, Smut.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Cheers.
Oh, it's young Mr. Horsey.
Good evening. I'm looking for Will Cottrell. Over here.
Don't often see you in here, Mr. Horsey.
You don't have a teetotal father.
But you're old enough now.
I went to your house, but you weren't there. My father wanted you to have this.
What's that?
It's a Bible.
Oh, say thank you for me, will you?
Of course. He would have come himself, but he's not been well lately, as you know. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's very kind of your father, Mr. Horsey. Is he going to be giving Bibles to all the lads who volunteer their services?
I don't know.
As if so, I'm happy to tell you he's going to be giving a lot of Bibles away in this valley.
I'm afraid I really don't know.
Won't you have a drink while you're here?
Oh, thanks very much, but I'm expected back.
Most of the lads who volunteered to do their duty here tonight are drinking gin with their ciders. You're going to be doing your duty, Mr. Horsey.
I don't think it is my duty to join the army.
I don't wish to be rude, Mr. Horsey, but what makes you so different?
Nothing. I just don't think it's right to fight.
You don't think you have a duty to defend your country? Or perhaps you think it's going to be a little dangerous.
Oh, leave him be. If you don't want to join the army, don't have to.
The more volunteers that go to France, the sooner this war will be over and the lads can come home.
That's right, Mr. Purcell.
A lot of lads here tonight have pledged and are going to volunteer.
Well, that's up to them. I just...
You just what, Mr. Horsey?
I just don't want to get into an argument.
We're not arguing, Mr. Horsey. We're just talking. I'm sure they do a lot of talking at that university of yours. I'm sure you talk all the time.
Oh, take no notice, Mr. Horsey. He's getting everyone mazed. We know what he's doing.
Then we know what we're doing.
You know what I mean.
You got any German students at their university, Mr. Horsey?
There are some, yes.
Friends of yours?
A few of them, yes.
Where are some of them now?
I have no idea.
Perhaps in Germany.
Probably, yes.
Serving with the army?
Yes, some of them, perhaps. I don't know. Look, I've got to go.
Perhaps in Belgium? Like these two?
Well, what are they two then, Mr. Purcell?
They're 2 Huns who've just raped an innocent Belgian woman.
What's that down there then?
That's a little child. She doesn't understand. Sees her mother crying, she's trying to drag the Germans off.
Here, look at that there.
The Hun don't care about children of that age, do they?
Here, Will, that's what you were going to...
They couldn't be friends of yours, could they, Mr. Horsey?
Of course not.
Well, I hope not. We don't want people in our community with friends who are likely to rape innocent women.
Look, I don't believe in violence. Not from anybody. And that's why I'm not joining the army.
Mr. Horsey, what would you do if you found a Hun raping your sister like that?
I don't have a sister.
That's true, Mr. Purcell, you don't.
That's a very clever answer, Mr. Horsey. You get 10 out of 10 at the university for that. Presuming you had a sister, what would you do if you found a Hun raping her?
Oh, we do go on about raping women, don't he? You know what they say you were like when you were younger.
You haven't answered me, Mr. Horsey. What would you do if you found a Hun raping your sister?
I don't know. I'd probably attack him with my fists.
Fair enough.
It would make a lot more sense to stick a bayonet through him.
Oh, no, that would be too violent. Now, let's be fair. Mr. Horsey isn't a coward. He says he's prepared to protect his sister with his bare fists. If he had a sister, which he hasn't.
Well, that's quite different.
Mr. Horsey, you're prepared to protect your sister, but you're not prepared to defend your country.
No.
But you're prepared to let other people do it for you.
Look, you don't understand. Nobody's defending anything. This whole war is stupid.
So all the lads who volunteered their services here this evening are stupid, are they?
I'm not talking about them.
I reckon he is, you know.
I reckon you're right.
What he's saying.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, look, it's a class system. Capitalism. Capitalism needs war to survive. The German workers, they don't want war. Any more than we do.
Then why are they invading Belgium?
You don't understand. It's not the Germans. It's the capitalist system. The German soldier is a victim.
So we can't blame the Hun. The Hun that's looting the churches and robbing the houses and raping the women and killing the children. The Hun's just a victim too, is he?
None of this is happening. It's propaganda. It's lies.
It's not a lie. It's in a newspaper, Mr.
Anybody who believes in this sort of rubbish is an idiot.
Oh, now we know, don't we? Thank you very
We
much.
know we're a bit stupid, Mr. Horsey, but we didn't realize we were idiots. Is our government telling us lies? Is Mr. Grenfell, who gave your father his job, is he telling us lies? I'm very glad you came in here this evening, Mr. Horsey. Otherwise we wouldn't know what to think, would we?
You can't be stupid enough to believe what they put in papers. Men are being slaughtered because of lies. He's going off to fight for nothing. Nothing. He may be maimed, he may be blinded, and he may be killed. For nothing.
Get out. Don't ever put your face in here again, because you won't be served.
It's time you were going too well. Time for your train. Come
on, Will, lad. You don't want to be late for the parade.
Come on, you...
Look what you've done to him! A party! He's so drunk he doesn't know what's happening!
Leave him be, my dear. Come on, love, he's got to go. He's got to go, else he'll arrest him, Eleanor. Now, leave him be, my dear.
You're animals, that's what you are, just animals. He never hurt a living thing in his life. Look what you've done to him.
His duty, Mrs. Cudzell.
Judy! What do you know about Judy with your money? You think you could buy him? You think you could buy all of them? You stand here, you stinking pig, with your big house, and you talk about Judy. 'Tis you should be going to shoot her.
Let it be, my dear. Now, come on. Get her down.
We'll give him a hand. Sissy, Bartlett, come on, kiss him goodbye. Only on the cheek. Come on. All right. Hey, it'll be all right when he gets some fresh air.
He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow.
Shouldn't have had all that to drink. He ain't got no head for it.
We just wanted to give him a party.
It were my fault. I should have stopped him.
Oh, it's good to see you again, James.
There's something I've got to decide, Paul.
What's that?
I'm not at all sure I want to stand for Parliament at the next election. Whenever that will be.
But why ever not? You're the best MP this constituency's ever had. Even the Tories admit that. Why, you're a natural-born politician.
Do you think that now that's an honourable thing to be?
James, just look at what you've achieved.
Oh, yes, we've done a lot.
Yes.
But when you start consoling yourself with what you've done, and you're no longer burning to do the things you know have still got to be done, isn't it time you gave way for somebody else?
It'll all seem very different when the war's over.
Will it?
Yes, of course it will.
People are frightened, Paul. They're becoming so scared of losing what they have. They've given up trying to build something better. Suppose this war goes on for years.
It can't. It can't possibly.
Supposing it does. There won't be people who have the innocence, if you like. Not in my generation. In 1906, we knew nothing. We didn't know how we were supposed to address the speaker. We didn't know where the lavatories were. But we knew what we wanted. We knew we were different from those men opposite us. And we knew why. Now, am I really any different from those Tories, when all any of us think about is this lunatic war?
Well, we had one drink too many. We're trying to give the lad a send-off. Gonna fight for the Hun. Show him we appreciate it.
Yeah, that's right. Should we appreciate it, like?
And he'll be sober when he gets there, not like the Hun.
5 or 6 months.
You seen this?
Twins.
Hun soldiers robbing a Belgian house. The children trying to stop them. Laying hands on everything they can find. That's the kind of man that Will's going to be fighting.
How do you know what happened? The fellow did this drawing.
Well, he saw it.
Well, if they'd be in Belgium and he'd be in England.
What about this one? Hun soldiers marching through a Belgian city. And what have they got on their filthy bayonets? The bodies of babies that they've murdered, marching through the streets with the bodies of babies on their bayonets.
It's horrible. Don't look upset.
To do that sort of thing in Belgium, you can imagine what they're going to do here.
Nobody do nothing like that in England.
England is their enemy, lad, not Belgium. God strafe England, that's their motto. God destroy England.
I've heard him say that, but it doesn't mean...
They've been planning this war for years, lad.
Yeah, I know they've been building up their navy against us, no? Yeah.
What about the Boer War, eh? Who supplied the rifles and the bullets that killed our lads? Kruppsch and Schneider and Mauser and all those Hun firms.
The squire told me he still had a Mauser bullet in him somewhere, but didn't know it was German.
I don't reckon they'd come here.
That's right, not in Devon.
They're here already, lad.
What do you mean?
The Germans have been planting spies in every country in the world preparing for this war.
No spies here, not in the valley, like.
No, ain't no Germans. Or at least only old Charlton.
What do you suppose he's doing?
Oh, he's all right. Anyway, the police called on this morning from Paxtonbury.
They didn't arrest him.
I didn't do nothing.
Oh, shows he's all right then.
Yeah.
Well, it works for him. You're a funny old badger, but he don't mean no harm.
What does he do?
He don't really understands it. He's got all these maps, see, and he asks me what the names of places is too.
Maps and the names of places.
Churches and that.
Because the Germans used church towers for their artillery spotters. Yeah. Where do you suppose those maps are now? In Berlin. Maps of the coastline. Maps of our valley. Maps of Coon Bay. All ready for the invasion.
Oh, but he can't be a spy, because he can't send messages, can he?
There's plenty of ways of sending messages, lad. Haven't you read about the way the Hun signal to their submarines off our coastlines?
Don't do nothing like that. Don't do nothing set right.
Who does he write to?
Only a gentleman in America.
What's his name?
Dr. Von Summit. At a university.
Von. Another Hun. He takes the messages from Schultz and sends them on to Berlin.
I hardly ever see him, to say you live so close.
He mostly stays at home, writing. I do his shopping for him.
That's part of it, isn't it? You say there's no Germans in our valley. Then you remembered him.
Because nobody pays no notice.
Exactly, that's why he's allowed to go on with his spying.
Seems all right to me. What little I've seen of him.
Do you remember his son?
Gottfried, yeah.
Schultz comes into my shop the other day, which is a very rare occasion. He says to me, "Mein friend, this war is terrible. Mein Liebling, Gottfried." And he told me where his beloved Gottfried was. In the German army. What? He's in the German army. When Will gets over there, Gottfried would be trying to kill him.
Think we ought to go and have a word with him, like?
I think you ought to leave him alone.
Leave him be.
Just warn him, like.
You bide where you two are, Sam.
Of course, he could be quite innocent.
There ain't any worry there, Needham.
With all those maps.
We're entitled to know why he hasn't. That's what I reckons.
Well, if the police have been to see him...
They were there hours.
Doesn't mean that he was guilty, lads. Simply that they suspected him. Just because he writes to a Hun friend in America, perhaps he can explain that, too.
They'm writing a book.
Should we give him the chance, then?
What about his son serving in the Hun army? He could still be innocent.
Don't you do nothing foolish now, Tom.
I just think that we ought to go and have a word with him, like.
I know it's here somewhere. And he definitely said...
Don't worry, Paul, it doesn't matter. But take my word for it.
What are you two doing in here?
I'm trying to find a speech that Lloyd George made, but as James said, it's not important.
Did you see this? In Paxtonbury, some people broke the windows of Lamar's grocer shop because his name sounds German.
In London, they're throwing sticks at Dachshunds.
Oh, James.
That's absurd.
We're all changing, Paul. The English race is changing.
I don't believe you'll ever change.
I don't know.
But surely this is the time for you to fight even harder for what you believe in.
God knows I'm trying. It's the last thing I want, to lose the ideals I've fought for all these years. In a way, they're all I have. That's what's so terrifying. I watched it happen to my father. He sacrificed everything in his struggle to improve conditions for his constituency. And I vowed I would never let it happen to me, that my career should take over my life to the same extent. But that's just what's happened. My work is my life.
And that's exactly why you won what used to be one of the safest Tory seats in the country.
I was fortunate. I coincided with the landslide. In Parliament, I began to realize that the Tory party had its virtues. It represented a stability, a sort of courage, patriotism, loyalty. I still don't believe they outweigh the other things. The selfishness, the patronizing nature, above all, the sheer stupidity. But in a war, I'm afraid it's the Tory virtues that are needed.
I tell you, James, you're spending far too much of your time in London. You can see clearer in Devon.
Yes, I'm sure you're right. But for how much longer?
Look what's happening to Grace.
Oh, Claire.
It's what James was saying about people changing. Her idealism, her votes for women, everything she went through. She gave up everything to help women. I mean, her home, her family, everything. Now look what she's doing. Driving ambulances to carry wounded men in a man's war.
You're right. It happened to Grace. It's happening to everybody. You lose your timber. Trees that take centuries to grow, cut down. You accept it. You're angry, you resent it, but you still accept it.
But as you say, I've no choice.
Indeed. But you wouldn't have tolerated that sort of interference a minute 6 months ago. We're all having to compromise. Just as I suppose when the time comes, I will vote for a coalition with the Tories. What frightens me is that when we've finished fighting for freedom, I'm afraid there'll be so little freedom left. Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll go to bed.
Yes, of course.
Good night, James.
Don't let the valley change too much.
I'll do my best. Let's play our new gramophone record. The one the children gave us. Come on.
We'll wait for you, Will.
I can't afford to pay those sort of prices. You know, the working man, you know. Oh, yeah, that's all the money from. It's always late, this train. German!
What on earth could that be at this time of night?
Hurry, Mrs. West, Squire.
He's in here.
They'll kill him. There's a dozen of them.
What are you talking about?
They run all the way, Squire. You must stop them.
Stop who?
They've all gone there.
Gone where, Pansy?
To Professor Schultzer. They think him a spy. They'll kill the old toad.
Well, I better get over there. You telephone John Rudd and tell him to come. And Maureen, too. We may need a doctor.
Hurry, Squire.
I can't get John on the telephone. That woman at the exchange says she won't interrupt the call because it comes from London.
Oh, that damn machine's never any use when you want it. You better run over there and tell them. Come on, Pansy. Off we go.
Well, come on, Will. Next stop, France.
See you over there.
There won't be time. He'll be back before we have the chance. Come on.
Don't you worry about yourself about Eleanor. We'll look in to make certain she's all right.
Not that she needs us looking after her, eh?
Schultzer, where are you? Schultzer!
It's me, Paul Craddock. Where are you?
For God's sake, what happened?
My work.
Doesn't matter about your work.
The people.
Are you all
look
right?
What they have done.
What people?
I was afraid and hid in the cellar.
You mean local people?
Yes.
People from the valley?
Yes.
What in God's name do you think they're doing? Here, Maureen.
What on earth?
Where's John?
He's coming shortly.
He should be here.
Yes, oh, I can't see to do anything in here. Will you help me to take him to the Raven where there's more light?
Yes, of course. Up we get.
All right, all right. What's wrong?
There's been a bit of trouble, Les.
Bring that lamp over here, Les. I think it's only a cut. Have you got some spirits so that I can clean it up?
I promise you they'll pay for this. Did you see who they were?
No, I only heard the voices.
This'll sting. It's just so that I can see what I'm doing.
They were afraid. I was afraid. They think I am a spy.
I want their names. What do you mean, no?
Look, do you think he can stay with you tonight? He's in a terrible state of shock.
Yes, yes, of course. I want those men in jail.
They were frightened, I tell you. They think I am their enemy. It's not their fault. When I came to England, I was frightened of the government of my own country. But I'm still a German. When I read your papers, they tell me of the English debt and the German debt. I'm more unhappy for my German debt.
What you've done to him.
It'll be all right in a couple of hours.
Oh, my dear. Get it. Come on.
Hey, where's his hat? Dandy! Dandy, where's his hat?
All night.
Come on, Jen, get him in there. Come on, get him in there.
Turkey for Christmas, all right?
He's fine now.
That'll be John.
And not before time, either.
Paul, there's something you ought to know. That phone call for John is from a friend of Roddy's at the Admiralty. The news hasn't been officially released yet, but HMS Good Hope has been sunk with all hands.
Yes. That was the ship my son was serving in.
19th of May, 1915. After only 10 months of war, our farming has become a communal effort. With more and more men going into the army every day, the valley people are being torn between us and them. France is a remote region they don't understand. There are times when I'm not sure if I do either.
Ah, soldier. Ah, morning to you. Lovely day. Thank you. Okay.
What the devil?
What is it?
Oh, doesn't matter.
Let me see. What is it?
Yeah, it's not worth talking about.
Is it some sort of threat?
Well, I'm told they're sending them out all over London. The sender seems to think it's a tactful way of saying
You're a coward.
something like that.
It's a local postmark. Well, who could have sent it?
Some crank. I've got to go out again now. I may be late.
Must you?
Well, John wants to go over the details of the labour pool he's organising. I've got to go and see him now.
Look to your damn leathers, you fool! Don't feed on your fork!
Beg your pardon.
Damn it. A female.
If I need your advice, I'll ask for it. On the other side.
Well done! What a nag! What a nag!
Will, why don't he talk? Why don't he tell me what 'tis like in the war? They do say 'tis full of loud bangs, like smut loosing off his lordship's rabbits and such, but it sounds fair maze to me, I can tell 'ee. Why don't he have something to eat? It might be as if you had much on the train, and 'twill settle your stomach.
They tells me.
Who tells thee? Come, Mark. What be the matter, my heart? Weep or speak or do something, only stop this silence. You be home now, Will. Home.
I only hope that glass ain't dusty, Edward.
Bit of dust never hurt nobody.
Take you as I find you, eh? Couldn't be better. I tell you, Derwent, when I saw that gal of yours clear that fence this morning, nothing rotten, mind. 5 good bars of solid timber. I said to myself, there's a nagsman of a lifetime.
Tis very good of you to say so, I'm sure, Major.
Ought to be. She were hunting before she rode in Hopkins.
Edward.
Fluid she did
Rose,
with a
dear,
fitting
don't you
hand
think
and
perhaps a
full
dress?
yellow.
The pink
Joy
hand.
to watch.
Nonsense, Mother.
She
Oh, but
good
Rose,
rider.
you heard what the Major said. He'd rather
It's
take
the
us as he
spirit that does
follows
it.
us.
Attack every time.
All right.
De Peek knew it. Of course, he was talking about fighting soldiers at the time. In battle, he said, 2 moral forces are in conflict, even more than the material ones. Same in hacking. You've got to show the horse who's master.
Have another.
Thank you.
Be you married, Major?
Me? Good God, no. Never went in much for that kind of thing. Too loud, you know. Females faint when I say things. Thin-blooded, eh? You've got a sister, though. Hang it, she's even more nag-struck than I am.
She a female?
Yes, but hang it, what a pair of hands.
Nigh on an hour he sat here, Gloria. Not hardly speaking, not looking at me or the boy at all.
Well, give he time, why don't he? There be something about the military life that changes men.
If you ask me, he don't even know him own.
Tonight he will.
I don't mind about that.
What do he mind, then?
There's always been something proper mazed about the Codsalls. I don't want him going the way of his old man.
Ain't much of that from where I come from now. Isn't that right, old son?
Best leave him be. He'll cheer up when the music starts, eh?
Right.
Plenty of rum, though, so I'm told.
Oh, as much as I can drink.
They get rum in the Navy too, don't?
Oh, not the way I get it. Special friend of the COs, eh?
That's so.
A tot a day's enough for any man.
Not for smuck putter, it bain't. Only last week, Captain sends for me. Smuck, me boy, says, there's an unmachine gun nest wearing our lads in the forward trench. See what he can do about it, won't he? 3 bottles I got for that. That's what I likes about my job. Independence, eh?
Navy's independent too.
Ah, but I ain't just talking about the army, Tom. Sniping's what I mean. Watch. Wait. Bide your time. Bang!
Don't seem like much of a war to me.
Like hunting game over at Erinsley. Proper skill it needs.
Sneaky, if you ask me. Like the time Dan and me was torpedoed. Submarines be sneaky too. Like snipers.
Thought you liked your old Jerry then?
Afterwards, that was different. Afterwards, he was a proper gentleman.
Here we go. Same old story about the kind-hearted German skipper.
He didn't have to do what he did he? Saved my life, that's what he did.
He torpedoed your ship, didn't he?
Yeah, but he could let us drown. Here, Will, have I told you the story, like?
About the Navy.
Beginning of the war, mate, like?
Be marching that gets me.
Hey?
How they does it, I don't know. Up, down, neat as ninepence. Really summer.
It's a knack, Henry boy. He gets used to it.
How they remembers it all, I don't know.
You ought to have a go to yourself, Henry. Let him take you away from Gloria for a spell.
Oh, I couldn't do that, Les. Not like they.
And there we were, see, bobbing away in the water like, trying to help each other onto the raft. And up comes this submarine, like. How many are you? Says this Jerry Captain, all proper gentry English, like. 9, I says. Take a tow, he says. And he tows us all the way to the coast. Now, that's what I call a real war. None of this hot air is smut. I mean, he didn't have to do that, don't we? He didn't have to tow us to the coast, like. You all right, Will? Well?
They talks to me, Tom. They talks to me all the time.
Who's that, mate?
Me dead ma and pa.
Mrs. Craddock, it's really very good of you to see me.
Captain Lane Phelps.
Yes, it is a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
Do sit down.
Jolly decent of you. I won't keep you long. Well, not longer than necessary.
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, just arrived today. I always seem to be on the move. Rather a bore.
Well, I think you'll find the people around here very friendly.
Ah, yes, but then not everyone's going to be as hospitable as you.
Oh, come now, Captain Lane Phelps. All I've done
Aubrey is easier.
All I've done is offer you a chair.
Yes, but you could have refused to see me altogether.
Oh, you here on some disreputable business?
Good heavens, no. Not at all. No, just brigade business. It's terribly boring, really.
Oh, well, perhaps you ought to tell me.
Well, I suppose it's got something to do with my face. But wherever I go, whatever I do, I always seem to be landed with the same terrible chore.
Oh, you've got me on tenterhooks.
Arrange entertainments, they say. Well, I'm an infantry officer and very serious at heart.
Must be very boring for you.
But the assignment is always the same. I've arranged socials and dances until they're coming out of my ears. My last posting, I had to produce the camp pantomime.
I hope you're not going to do that here.
Good heavens, no. No chance of that. No, just the local dance. I said, would you help? The brigadier said you could be very accommodating.
Well, knowing the local brig as I do, I don't think I've any option.
No. I don't think you have.
How long did you say you were staying here?
Well, in the face of such charity, I should say not long enough.
Nobody knows how tired we are, tired we are, tired we are. Nobody knows how tired we are, and nobody seems to care. Faster! Nobody knows how tired we are, tired we are, tired we are. Nobody knows how tired we are, and nobody seems to care.
Yeah, here's another one. Learned this one on board the Ocean Bass on our way to France. We're here because we're here. Well, you know, you play Old Lang Syne. Old Lang Syne. We're here because we're here.
We're here because we're here because we're here because we're here. We're here because we're here because we're here because
we got the lads in the camp. They'll be the same without Jem. No one to bash our heads together.
Here's Tom Pierce, lend me your grey mare all along. Oh, I like that one.
What should we do in a drum or something like that? Hey, Glyn, you drum and love bombs if we leaves it up to you. How about It's a Long Way to Tickle Mary?
Yeah! It's a long way to Tickle Mary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tickle Mary. To see this girl I know. Oh, goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tickle Mary. Oh, my. You want to know what it's like? I'll tell you.
Take it easy.
Come on.
'Tis worms' work, that's what it be. 'Tis worms and lice and maggots. 'Tis stuck on the wire you be, with your guts hanging down over, all covered in flies, and you'm still breathing. That's what it be like. I tell you this, Smut Potter, with all your talk of hunting men, I killed this bloody great German with me spade, see? 'Cause I lost me rifle in the mud. And I pushes me hand down in amongst all the arms and legs, and I comes up with this girt shovel, see? And I smashes it across his chops. And you want to know what happened? He still come at me with no face on his head. He still come at me. So I lands him another one. And still he come. Get away, old devil! And you want to know who he were? He were me old man. Him what done for me mother with a sickle, that's who he were. And him here now. And I'm gonna kill him. Like I killed that bloody great German. Then he can leave me in peace. You great murdering bastard.
Passed out. Stupid daft codsle that he be.
Let's take him home. Will you help?
Not for no bloody German loving.
Well, shove it! I want your cart. If you won't give it, I'll carry him on my back, see?
You can have the card.
And this went on all night? Nigh on. And Tom Williams says that when he was bringing him back on the cart, Will called him father and had a go at him.
Do you know how long he's going to be at home?
Oh, he didn't say.
Not that it matters. He won't be seeing France again.
What's that?
Well, they can't send him back like this.
Can he do that, Doctor? Will won't like it.
He won't have any say in the matter.
Oh, yes, but will he listen? No disrespect, Doctor, but in his right mind will be fair obliging, but now...
Helena, he's worn out. It's rest he needs. Even he'll agree with that.
Yes, but I think somebody ought to tell the army that there be daftness in the consuls back along.
I'll write the letter myself.
Oh, just one other thing, Doctor. Well, if it ain't be too much trouble, could you tell Squire what's to do? Only Will's always been very fond of Mr. Craddock, ever since what happened.
I'll go to Shallowford right away. Mr. Craddock will come and see him, I promise.
Of course I'll tell Paul when I see him.
He'll be home for lunch, won't he?
Paul hasn't been home for lunch in the past 3 weeks. I'll be lucky if I see him before midnight.
I'm sorry you're going through a rough patch with Paul. But at least you've got him here. You know where he is. I mean, if he were in France, I'd understand it.
Do you think I'm feeling sorry for myself?
Don't you?
I think a beating would do me the world of good.
I'll suggest it to Paul.
I say, Mrs. Thingammy didn't seem to be around. Shall I come back later?
Captain Lane Phelps, Dr. Rudd.
How do you do? I wish all our MOs were more like you.
I shouldn't. I'm a great believer in castor oil.
Say, for Tartar.
Come on. The horses are waiting.
Two squadrons of the 12th Light Dragoons. Over there, where those trees are. Further back, 2nd Brigade under Major General Robertson. Moving in an echelon of regiments from the left. Our chaps have been detached to approach the enemy from the rear. Ramsey's troop of artillery was laying a barrage across the road, somewhere to our left. Now the fun started. Some of the leading regiments were a bit slow in moving up, but Colonel Brooke noticed it, and he passed the order, "Get a move on, 4th Grenadiers!"
Where were they?
Oh, the leading brigade, of course. After that, things happened chop, chop. The charge sounded. The enemy caught off balance, turned about, but too late, our chaps were among them. The foot sloggers, poor devils, were literally hurled into battle. Horses, men, swords, bayonets, everybody, gouging, slashing, cutting. Bit by bit, they fell back, right into the arms of the 47th lying up behind the wood. Screaming like banshees, they charged down the hill. It's a terrible thing for infantrymen to see a body of cavalry charging at them full tilt. They shuffled, they broke, then they fled. It was all over by midday. Ah, hang it. What a marvelous way to fight a war.
Was this in France?
Good God, no. Peninsular War, 1813. Hup! Ring the bell!
All right, Smart. Same as usual.
He's coming.
Who's coming?
Will. Cod's all. Rifle and all.
Over my dead body, we'll lock the door, Smart. We had enough of that nonsense last night, thank you very much.
Open the blooming door, I'll break her down.
He will too.
Open, I tell you.
That's Will, all right.
Open! I'll give 'ee white feather.
What do we do?
What's the matter for the law?
Well, how do we call him? Well, we're in here and the law's out there. What's he mean, white feathers?
Open the door, I'll smash a bloody window.
Here, he's hammering on the door with his rifle. He's got proper daft.
What if he starts firing it off?
We can't do that. It's against King's regulations.
But the king ain't here.
Wait.
I can still hear you. There's no good hiding. When you comes out, I'll get me axe.
He's going away.
Why don't you leave me alone?
He's talking like his old man.
You ought to lock him up.
I'll have that pint now.
A drop of this here.
I telephoned the police and his regimental HQ at Paxtonbury. No one's seen anything of him. I can remember raising half the valley to search for his father, and we never found him. Not until it was too late. Will's got the whole county to roam in. I've got half a dozen men.
The camp, wouldn't they help?
Well, not unless he's a dangerous lunatic, and he's not that, is he?
No, he's not a lunatic.
Now, there you are, then.
How sick is he?
I wish I knew.
You examined him.
I know. But he's the first of the local people to come back like this.
Like what, for God's sake? Just try and be more specific, Maureen. All I've heard is some vague talk about hallucinations.
Yes, there are hallucinations. Now, that could be the result of severe mental fatigue. Or it could be the beginning of something more serious.
More serious?
We just don't know the consequences of constant bombardment. There's this theory that a shell going off in the near vicinity creates a vacuum in the atmosphere, which actually affects the influence of the fluid on the brain.
I can't believe it.
If you had seen him...
He didn't give me much chance, did he?
I tell you, we're so totally ignorant of how to cope with this war. When you asked me to be more specific about Will's condition, I can only tell you his pulse rate, temperature, and blood pressure. I don't know any more.
But is this war so different from any other?
Yes, Paul. I know men suffered terribly in South Africa, but not like this. Will mustn't go back to France.
Hyacinth's the one you ought to meet. Splendid girl. Spanking seat.
That be your sister, the one you told us about.
Never been out of the blasted saddle. You and she would get on famously, Rose. I say, why don't you come and visit? She'd like that.
There, Rose. And that kind of the Major. Major?
Oh.
What you say, Rose?
Yes, it is kind of you, Major, but
Oh,
I don't really...
be silly, Rose. You know your father and I'd love you to go. Edward, the Major's just suggested
Yes,
that...
I heard him.
Where does your sister live, Major?
No, our place in Gloucester.
A big place, I'm sure.
Oh, 5,000 acres. Shooting's not up to much, but the hunting makes up for it.
Rose's sister married the local squire, you know.
Oh, so I'm told. Decent chap by all accounts.
Didn't do we much good.
Well, Rose, I do think you ought to consider the invitation.
I've got rather a headache, Major. I wonder if you'd mind if I went off to bed.
Oh, damn me, my fault, talking too much. Look, if I promise to button up for 10 minutes, stay a moment longer.
There. All good. Edward, what have you got there?
Brandy glasses, of course.
Well, you forgot the brandy. Come along. I'll fetch it with thee.
I don't take two of us.
Oh, come along, man.
It's not that I don't want to meet your sister, Major. It's just that I don't feel...
Hang it, know exactly what you mean. Couldn't agree more. Give the nag time to breathe, eh? Look, something I'd like you to hear, if you can spare the time.
What is it?
Cavalry training manual. Been my Bible since I was a boy. Now, it must be accepted as a principle that the rifle, effective as it is, cannot replace the speed of the horse, the magnetism of the charge, and the terror of cold steel. I'd like you to have it.
Me?
Present. Can't think of anybody I'd rather give it to.
I don't know.
Got my name in the front. See, Jack Barclay Jones, November 3, 1880. Makes me a bit long in the tooth, I'm afraid.
It's very kind of you.
Shows we speak the same kind of language.
Now, Major, tell us more about this place of yours.
tamer's grave, you say? Who wanted to do a thing like that?
Only old Meg, I reckon, and she says no.
Oh, then he must have been smut. After all, Tamer was his old man.
No, 'twas Smut that told me. You know, 'twas a funny thing, that. Putting they Jerry's in along with Tamer.
Save space, I reckon. You got the same thought as me, Henry?
Me? I bain't thinking nothing.
Well, you just said it.
No, did I?
About putting they Germans in with old Tamer.
I was thinking much the same thing myself. Maybe they flowers weren't meant for my old man. Maybe they was meant for they Germans.
But that'd be treason.
Ooh, wouldn't bother some folks hereabouts. Hey, Tom.
Got more brains than I give you credit for, Smut Potter. Yeah, I put them flowers there all right. And there they stay.
They be burnt.
And there be more. There'll always be flowers for graves. I owes 'em that, I reckon. That there Jerry Skipper saved my life and 8 others back along with me.
Hun lover!
Go back to France, Smut. You be happier there. Poacher you were, and poacher you'll always be, but I tell you this. They Germans in the churchyard will be remembered long after your body be pushing up daisies. I'll stake my life on that. I been afeard of you. You does your killing hiding up in trees or from sneaky holes in the ground. But look 'em in the eye. Not you. Go back to France, Smut. They have need of your man-traps, not me.
Going back to France? But the doctor said that couldn't be.
I know. It's all been a terrible mistake. I don't think there's much Dr. Moring can do about it now.
But he'd be a sick man, Mrs. Craddock. Will be a sick man.
But I'm afraid the army doesn't agree.
But Dr. Moring's gone over to Paxtonbury to talk to them. Says when they phoned the squire this morning, they said they expected him to be on a draft today. So I think she may be a bit too late.
He didn't even say goodbye. What will I tell the boy?
If there's anything I can do.
It's bad luck, it really is.
Thank you, sir.
Captain Lane Phelps is going to France himself next week.
That's so, sir.
I bet he'll give the young what for, sir.
Well, I'll do my best.
In the meantime, if there is anything, well, please do come and see me.
I don't reckon there is.
Do you want to marry him?
It's not the point.
It seems to be very much the point.
No, point is, he hasn't asked me yet.
Well, it only seems a matter of time.
Oh, Lord, you sound as bad as Mother. Don't you think there's such a thing as giving a man time to make up his own mind?
Well, it would seem to me that left to himself, he'd never get around to it.
Would that be such a bad thing?
Don't you want to get married?
But how do I know?
Oh, I thought anyone would have known that.
Oh, yes, you would. You've been the admired one all your life. You never had any trouble making up your mind. I've had 17 years of accepting myself as I am, remember?
You didn't have to.
Oh, you mean I had an alternative? It's not easy making up your mind you're going to be an old maid, you know.
I'm sorry. That was beastly of me.
No, it's what I mean. Well, people who have the luck take it for granted. But when you don't, they think you're just being awkward. Well, I made up my mind a long time ago. No more disappointments. No more humiliations. I don't know if I want to start the whole miserable business all over again.
Could you be happy with him?
Don't know. Well, I think so. He's not the catch of the season, but then neither am I.
Oh.
The really important thing is that he should ask me only because he wants to and not because of Mother's bullying. Don't you see?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Why don't you do what I did? Run away.
Where would I go?
Well, here. If things get too rough, that is.
I'd like to. But no, I can't do that. You got 4 children and Paul.
Paul. He's never here. I could do with some sensible company.
Rumour has it you've been seeing a lot of that new young officer down at the camp.
That is why I say sensible.
You're not being silly, Claire.
Yes, of course I am. You're the strong one of the family.
Not so strong now.
Please, do come.
No, not unless things get unbearable. And as for your young man, you'll have to make up your own mind about that. I'm confused enough as it is.
Oh, Rose.
Claire? I'm leaving the day after tomorrow.
To France? You can't. You said you weren't going till next week.
The day after tomorrow is next week. I just got my papers this morning.
We've only just got to know each other. I thought it was going on for a long time.
Not much longer. Claire.
I don't know.
Please. I suppose all this has been just a bit of fun for you.
No.
You see, I have grown very fond of you. And I know I can't expect love in return. You're married. But my chances of coming back are not more than 50 to 1.
Oh, don't.
So you've been wonderful to me these last few days. You've no idea how lonely some of these postings can be.
We never did do anything about that dance.
Well, that wasn't important.
I must go. Paul is...
Look, will you meet me tomorrow? So that we can say goodbye properly? Please.
Maybe.
I want to take some memory of you back to the trenches.
Darling, shouldn't you stop now?
What's the time?
It's gone midnight.
Well, I'll be another hour yet. You go on up.
Surely you've done enough for one day.
Oh, you tried telling that to the government. Look at all these damn returns.
Couldn't you do it tomorrow?
I've got to be away all tomorrow. What on earth are you wearing that ridiculous thing for? You'll catch your death of cold. Come on. I'll take you home.
Thank you.
Why, Rose? Why?
Did it never occur to you that I'd be happier left to run my own life?
Your own life? What you know about your own life stuck away here. Your last chance passing you by.
Thank you very much, Mother.
Oh, he's no Mr. Paul Craddock, young and handsome, I grant you, but ain't better than nothing.
Well, that's supposed to make me happy.
You my fool is. You can't see for looking.
Oh, you make me sick.
If it hadn't been for me, he'd never have set foot in this house in the first place.
Wouldn't have been a bad thing to my mind.
Oh, can't we stop this? Just let me go. I'm not one of your farm animals you can argue over. Let me lead my own life.
There you are. Now you've lost her. What do we do now? She were as good as a man round here.
Oh, is that all she means to you? Oh, let's forget it. You'll never understand what I'm talking about. I'm not even sure I do. But please, let's stop. Now.
That gentleman's on telephone again, ma'am.
Tell him I'm still not home.
But this 5th time he's
just
rung.
do as I ask, please.
Evening, Squire.
Evening.
Will there be what something to eat?
Not just yet.
Hello. Didn't expect to see you here. Isn't this one of your evenings for the YMCA?
I've been waiting for you since midday.
But didn't I tell you I was going to Paxtonbury?
I weigh at the Potter sisters.
Oh, Claire. Are you accusing me of carrying on with the Potter sisters? Is that it?
You usually tell me when you're going to see anyone.
Well, perhaps I didn't want to tell you.
Why not?
Or perhaps it was none of your damn business.
And then you wonder why I'm suspicious.
Yes. Oh, good heavens. Can't you credit me with better taste than that? Sissy and Violet. Do you really want to know why I went?
Yes.
Honestly?
Yes.
Jem has been killed. I didn't want you to hear like this.
How did it happen?
He was attached to the engineers that were tunnelling under the German lines near Quincy to lay mines. Although they discovered that the Germans were tunnelling directly opposite, Jem refused to stop work. A German mine went off right under where he was working. He saved the lives of 5 men by holding up a crossbar for a full minute before the entire thing collapsed on top of him.
The Goliath of Biddeford. He's the first of the local people.
Yes.
Oh, Paul, I am so sorry.
Well, let's leave it, shall we?
No, there's more. You've told me your side. I'd arranged to meet someone because he's going to France tomorrow. And I decided to let him make love to me. It's right. Didn't know him.
Captain Lane Phelps.
How do you know?
He's not going to France tomorrow.
Yes.
I gather he's got himself a staff job at GHQ. And you weren't the only one. He's got himself something of a reputation.
Oh, God.
Major Barclay Jones, miss.
Thank you.
Sorry to come barging in on you like this, but I brought this over to you. Your mother said you left it behind.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no need to be. A lot on your mind.
Mother's been getting at you, hasn't she? Well, you don't have to take me notice. Her concern for her daughters is well known. You mustn't blame her, I suppose. I am 34 and firmly on the shelf. No beauty and spreading behind.
Oh, why don't you stop your chattering, damn it? Just as I'm beginning to pluck up my courage.
You mean you haven't been speaking to Mother?
Why do you have to keep dragging your mother into this? It's you I want to marry, not your mother.
You really mean it?
You're not going to faint, are you?
No. I've never felt more clear-headed in my life.
Good. Saw you clear that fence that first day. Said to myself, hang it, that gal could manage me. Haven't changed my mind since. I tell you,
Can
Rose...
I speak now?
Well, only fair, I suppose. But you'll let me down lightly, won't you? Even we old buffers have our dignity.
you and respect you. But quite honestly, I don't want to manage you.
Are you sure?
Jolly sure.
Then what are you saying?
Claire, this is Major Barclay Jones.
Oh, hang it, woman. Where does that leave us?
How'd you do?
Oh, blast.
He and I are getting married.
Well, I'll be damned. Sweet!
Will you be back in time for the wedding? Rose, so much happiness. Oh.
Sorry about that. I had to get myself under control.
You will look after her, won't you?
Give her my life, madam, for what that's worth.
You can't mean it.
You do.
You've actually gone and signed the papers.
He has.
He's got a tongue of his own, Mrs. Pitts.
I know it'd be a shock, Squire.
Shock, that is putting it mildly.
But I mean, what alternative have I?
Alternative? You could have stayed here and done your job. Damn it, don't you realise how short-handed we are? What with Walt Pascoe, Andy Timberlake, Will Codsall away, as I mentioned, Tom Williams, Gilbert, Smart.
And Jeb Pollock.
We've hardly got half a dozen able-bodied men left on the estate.
Seems to me you ought to be proud, Squire.
Proud, Mrs.
And what have you done?
No disrespect, Squire.
There be other men.
4 less than last month.
Well, the country needs soldiers, so I be told.
It also needs food, and that is our job. How you could do this without telling me? It's not as if you were even a young man.
I'd be 36.
Well, that's my age, for God's sake.
Well, perhaps you'll be going next then, Squire.
Perhaps you'll be satisfied when there's no one left to run the farms, Mrs. Pitts. Have you been getting these through the post?
Not through the post, no.
You don't need no white feather. Not now he's going for a soldier.
Well, somebody's been sending these out all over the estate. If I find out who it is. There's a sort of sickness creeping into the valley. People don't seem to care about each other anymore.
People has to be told when to fight, Squire.
Do they? And if they die, do you bear that on your conscience also?
Conscience don't come into it. Not if they be fighting for their king and their country.
Tell that to the people they leave behind. Paul. James. Oh, good to see you again. Good Lord, I'd forgotten you were coming. Hope somebody met you off the train.
Maureen picked me up. It's
Thank
all right.
heavens.
James has some news, Paul.
I've had a letter from France.
About Jem Pollock, it's all right, I
No,
know.
this is about Will Codsall.
He's dead, Paul. He was killed 2 days after he got back this last time.
Oh, my God.
There's more, I'm afraid. He wasn't killed in action. He was shot for cowardice. He ran away the first time he went back into action. He said he could see his mother and father waiting for him on the battlefield. His seer wrote to me because I knew him slightly. They felt Will had to die as an example. It's a very disturbing business. I asked a question in the house yesterday. I wanted to know how many men had been shot for desertion. The Foreign Secretary said there were none. But I know to my certain knowledge there had been 4 in the last month.
Don't blame yourself. Will should never have been sent back to France.
Jem and Will in 1 week. How many more, I wonder?
Come on. Claire's waiting.
Oh, here you are. Come on, Jack and Rose are waiting for you to treat their health. I know. James has told me.
What a waste. What a terrible waste.
Come on. Come on, Paul.